Good morning. God, it's a cold winter day. I think it's like 6 degrees in the Polytunnel, and look at, and outside it's about 0. It is absolutely freezing. So I've not been over for a few days because Storm Bert, it absolutely ripped through the site and did some damage, but luckily all I had was the cover on the IBC outside, which I'll put back over later on. The wind had just blown it off. But I am so glad that I fitted that overflow on the barrel outside, because I'm not telling you, I came over and the rain was coming down off this tunnel onto the guttering, and the guttering was overflowing. It was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. And I figured I probably should put an overflow on the IBC tank as well, because what's going to happen otherwise is that it's going to keep overflowing over winter because it's full now, and then the soil underneath there is going to get wet, and then it's going to start sinking and maybe capsize. So I want to fit one onto there today, which I've ordered, and it's come. So I ordered 2 and I used one at home as well. So I've been going through these taps honestly the last couple of days. So that's on the jobs for today. And also, what else have I got to do? Oh, I ordered some chains. Now, when I fit up the hanging shelf here, I ordered some chains that will hold it in place basically. I've used wire in the past, and I used tension wire, and one time I had a disaster where the tension wire slipped and the whole thing, you know, capsized and everything fell off. So I want to make sure that it's nice and sturdy. You learn from your mistakes from the last time and you make it better this time. Now I did perfect it the last time and it was fine, but I figured I'm going to go with chains this time. So I've ordered those, ordered some more hooks as well, because I counted up, right, honestly I had about 100 of these hooks. I can find about 20. Do you ever do that in your garden? You buy a lot thinking there'll be plenty, and then they just disappear. I think there's garden fairies. So yeah, that's on the list. Oh, what else happened this week? So we had a reef making day on site as well, which was really nice, which was held by a lady called Lisa, and it was absolutely fantastic. I gotta be honest. We all turned up, we all collected foliage and bits and bobs off site and from our gardens, and we all come together, listened to Christmas music. We had coffees, hot chocolates, cakes, biscuits, donuts, you name it. I was in my aisles. Anyway, so yes, we made our reefs. I made like a snowman one. Linda was there, Cheryl, Lisa, there was quite a lot of us, honestly. We all turned up and it was a really nice morning, to be honest. And then the storm hit, and I'm not joking you, my town has been absolutely flooded. And thank you so much for the viewers and YouTubers who contacted me and asked, like, are you okay? Is everything all right? Because it decimated our town. It was, I can't even tell you how much flooding happened, more than I've ever seen in my life. You know, I'm not talking banks breaking, I'm talking whole parks, whole areas that had never seen water were up 2-3 foot, and it was absolutely horrific. And I've got some footage here to show you like how bad it was, and it was horrific. I stayed out of it, I stayed indoors, but this is things that friends have sent me, and it was horrific. And I was a bit worried coming over because I thought what could happen, but thankfully I did that overflow. Right, let's get some things sorted. So do you remember I mentioned these pallets that I had for like £3 a pallet, and I've got 14 here, and I've been coming up with other ideas what I can use from, and thought I could probably do some more as well. And a few people have said, yeah, you can get them for free, or you know, you don't need to spend out on them. But by the time I drive around, I can't fit that in my car, but by the time I drive around, find them, try and get them back on site, it's worth doing it, you know. It's worth, and plus they're all the same size, which is what I wanted for the pallets. So that's coming. Oh, so I've ordered 10 more. Basically, that's in a nutshell. I've ordered 10 more. Another plot holder was ordering some, and I thought, you know what, they will come in handy. They really will. And I've got a few ideas for them for the fig and olive plot and the new plot. Right, let's tell you about my plans. So the banana plant now definitely needs to be chopped down, wrapped and overwintered. Now I was going to do a whole video about it, but I've actually shown this a few times now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the foliage off, wrap it in bubble wrap, wrap it in fleece, and then cover it in like bin liners with a whole intact bin liner on the top so the rain don't run through the core, and that'll stop the water from freezing the inside. So that's on the list for today. I also want to cut down all the asparagus. It's all gone yellowy brown now, which is perfect. Cut it down, lay it on top of the asparagus crowns, and it'll be a nice mulch for over winter. And then I'll also top it up then with some well-rotted manure as well, just to give that crowns a good goodness over winter, and to, you know, give it a bit of warmth as well. So next year, and I'm really excited about this, spring, it's the first time I can harvest some of that asparagus, and I cannot wait. Oh, and an update on the reinforcements that I've talked about for these. So Tunnel's got back to me and I've paid for the parts that I need. They're on their way. Hopefully they'll come today. And I've just noticed the garlic's coming up. So as you can see, the garlic's coming up through the bed, which is good news. And also, can we see it? Oh, see, the elephant garlic is coming as well. That's fantastic. Good news, good news. That is a fantastic news. So see what I mean? If we can have all this bad weather, we can have all this frost, life will always find a way. So sometimes don't worry so much. You know, people mollycoddle their plants a little bit. Don't get me wrong, don't send them to their death. But sometimes they just get on with it. Now, I've had this cabin heater for a few years now, and I tell you what, it on half put a little bit of warmth into the polytunnel or greenhouse. So if you've got one of these, or you're looking for some sort of way of keeping you warm while planting your seeds, then, you know, this is perfect really. Don't get me wrong, you can't beat the sun, but for a little boost, this doesn't half help. And also, just keep your hands warm. But with all gas fires and all, always make sure you've got a little bit of ventilation. These have been a godsend as well in the storm. Honestly, I'm so glad that I fitted them in time. So everything now is just growing on really well. And I'm putting it obviously to the closest to the sun. We've got a few things. I got to feed in this coriander's bolting. I didn't treat it the best, to be honest. I have planted some out, so these are just the extras. And these are all things that I've thinned out. But I've also, look at all the baby lupins. I'm so pleased about them. The white Lisbon spring onions, a bit random that in the middle there, nothing, but everything else is doing okay. We've still got piles of cauliflowers and giant winter spinach. Yeah, these are all the extras. Maybe I planted too many, but some of them will be planted out today. I'm planning on weeding some of the swede bed as well, getting all that, but I might actually dig up all the swedes today, to be honest, and take them home, prepare them, pop them in the freezer, and at least I have that bed free then. I can then mulch it and get that done so that we've got a spare bed to put some of these brassicas in. So I've got a list as long as my arm today. And the brassicas in this bed, God, they are really romping away now. I mean, look at this cabbage already. So pleased with this. So pleased. Now, I really need to get on with this one now, I think, because yeah, I just need to get some plants in, otherwise it's going to be a wasted bed for winter. But they're okay at the moment. All the brassicas are okay in their pots, you know, they're doing all right. But I need to sometime this week, or maybe even today, just get this done, you know. I need to fill it up a little bit and then try and source some compost. Our allotment shop is running low on compost at the moment, so yeah, I might have to go out and get some. So I'm just layering out some of the water because obviously I need to drill into here and I don't want to be drilling into water. So I do need to drop it down a good 4 inches or so. And then I'll drill a hole here somewhere, maybe around the side. And then at least then I can connect the tap and hopefully that'll be it. Will I be able to fit my hand in? That's the thing. So I might have to put it by here so that I can just reach my hand in. But yeah, that water's freezing. And then like you can see the covers come off. So I'm gonna have to put that on. I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna buy some bungee cords or something to wrap around this so it's tight, so it keeps it down, because the wind had basically just kept blowing it and then it's basically just come off. But thankfully it was held on by this and not blown away. Now, a little habit you should get into is, especially in autumn and winter, is before you leave your garden or your plot, fill up your watering cans and leave them in your greenhouse or your polytunnel so that it stays the right temperature for the next time you come over, so it'll acclimatise to the polytunnel or the greenhouse temperature. Now there's a reason for that. Now having your water barrels outside obviously makes sense, you know, you're collecting the water from the rain. But it's a lot colder now if you start pouring that on your plants, especially in autumn and winter where they're trying to keep as warm as possible. You're just going to shock them, chill them out, and possibly even damage them as well. So it's better to bring those watering cans inside just before you leave, fill them up, leave them, and then the next time you come in then it'll be at the right temperature for the soil and the plants that's in the polytunnel or greenhouse. So just get into the habit of don't chill your plants. So I've dug through this, just getting out a few of the weeds. So there is still a couple in there, but it's not so bad. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the spent compost in here, maybe add some bloodfish and bone as well, and plant out in here, because this bed definitely needs to be planted up like I mentioned. So I think using the spent compost would be good as well, and hopefully we won't get any volunteer potatoes in spring, but if we do, I'll just pop them out with a trowel. Now I've just checked the trail cam that was on the fig and olive plot, and I've noticed a few birds hanging around and squirrels, which is normal. That little field mouse is starting to turn the fig and olive plot into his playground. And he's running around a little bit. He's probably foraging for food and things as well for winter. But I cannot turf him out. I just cannot do it. But I know for a fact that this might come back and bite me in the butt in spring, but I just cannot do it. Because if that mouse finds a little partner and they start having babies, then it could become an issue. But I cannot turf them out, you know. I mean, even if I turfed them out of that bed, they'd move on to the shed or somewhere else anyway, because yeah, it's their land as well, just as much as mine. So I cannot do it. Well, I'm thrilled with this. I've put in 3 rows of spring onions, the white Lisbon. I put in some radar red onions, some brown and some white onions. And then across here, then I've put in some ironhead savoys, some winter jewel cabbages, some red kales, and then a pile of savoy. I'm absolutely thrilled that now both sides of the beds are full. And I didn't realise how much I've got. I mean, I've still got a pile here, which will be used, don't worry, they'll go to other homes. But it left me with the dilemma then of where are the salads, the rockets, the spinach and all that lot going to go. And I think I'm going to use this central bed here. So there's no compost in it at the moment. So that's a task for another day of trying to source that. I've got some compost in the compost bay, so I could put some of that in it to backfill it underneath. But I desperately need to get some more compost. So, I mean, they're not big enough yet. They're getting there, but I need to do this in the next week or so that this is planted up as well. But so far, so good. And I think I just heard Linda's car pull up. Coffee. I also need to make another trip to the salvage yard sometime this week as well, because I want to get the remaining wood for the floating shelves. Also get some wood as well for the shed build, which is coming up very soon, I hope, fingers crossed. I want to price up some timber and have all that delivered at the same time. But I might collect these in my car so that I can get this done quicker. But I'm going to try and use as much wood, all the panels, all the old shed panels as well, for the new shed. Now, I could probably go out and buy a pile of timber, a pile of cladding as well, but I want to make this as cheap as possible as well, and also strong. So I need to make sure that I don't scrimp and scrape, but also repurpose things I've already got, because it'd be pointless me, you know, fitting a shed up with all brand new when I've got piles of things here anyway that are still in good condition. So that's the plan. So it's coming up soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I cannot wait to get that finished, you know, having the log burner up again. And it's getting cold now, you know what I mean? My little heater here ain't going to last forever. I want somewhere which would be nice and snug so I can go in there, warm up, have my coat nice and warm and dry. So yeah, there's so many projects, but I'm getting through them quick and fast. I've also decided that a lot of the alliums and a lot of the tulips and other spring flowers, I've just not got the space for them at the moment, because I'm still renovating some of the beds and I don't want to plant them in there and then change my mind, because a few of the beds at the Fig and Olive are going to be moved around at some point as well. So I've decided I'm going to put them all into pots, use all this staging up on this one side, pot it all up, and then when I've got the space available, I'll plonk them in. So that's the plan. Oh, remember I said about making and using what you've already got? Well, I found this at the back of this plot. Now, it's been in, I thought it was just a bit of old fence, but it's actually a metal grid, and I think this could be the solution for the floating shelf to save me buying a floating shelf. But we'll have a look now, because it might be too heavy. It could be too heavy because it is a hefty bit of lump, but we'll have a go anyway. Let's see if we can get it clipped up. So I bought the chains, and I also bought some carabiners as well that you can fit to either these, or you can buy brackets as well, which I bought for the wood. So we'll see. I can't remember how many chains I bought now. What? Come on in.
Hello, come on down, the price is right.
The camera's on.
Is it? Hello.
I thought I heard your car.
Did you?
Yeah.
You didn't hear my trolley though, did
No,
you?
I didn't hear your trolley at all.
Taking it out here.
I was gonna make one for you, but I found this at the back of the plot. There's a floating shelf, so I thought I'll just use that.
Hey, that's really handy though.
So, and I already bought the chains ready.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
I know. Well, I was...
Deal, that is.
Yeah, well, I was going to buy one. I only just said on the camera I'm going to go and get the wood to build it.
Yeah.
And I was always wondering then where I can store it, but like that's easy to store in there, you know, just put it up against the fence. Or I could probably use it for sweet peas or for mange choux or something later on in the season.
That's right, yeah.
And they got the clips on these, look, so you can just...
That's ideal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ooh.
Are we having a cuppa? Are you ready now, or do you want half hour or 10 minutes?
Yeah, go on then. We'll get it over and done with, and I guess it on with some.
So I don't know whether or not I'm just going to have it hanging over the... See, this is the thing. There's 3 bars here, and this is not quite long enough. Or do I put it halfway across, and then it's in the way a little bit there? But I think I prefer that. I think I prefer that rather than going into that area, because I'm trying to keep the front of the polytunnel free, because that's where I'm doing a lot of work at the moment. Now I don't know how I'm going to get this up here, so let's have a think. Now these carabiners that I ordered as well, they've got like a swivel lock on them as well, a twistable lock, because I didn't want them opening up or anything. So where do I put this? Do I put it close by? Now I suppose doing this way, it will ensure that everything's level, because I'm using the mesh. I think this is going to be okay. How about that? Here we go. This is where it could go all wrong. Oh God, tell you what, this is blooming heavy. Oh, Daddy. I don't know about this. So I will adjust it, I think, and it's a bit of a bouncer, but I think that this actually will do the job. It really will. I think I'll bring it more across to here, but I think that's all right. I'm happy with that. Now I wonder if it'll fit the 2 sets of trays. I think so. Look at that. This is what I wanted. I wanted it. Oh, that's perfect. It actually fits perfect there. This is what I wanted. Perfect. I think I'm going to warm to like this. I might give it a good clean up though, and give it a little paint, get rid of some of the rust or whatever on the one side. But I think this will do the job. I really do. That saved me a job as well. So yeah, there you go. I'm a little bit worried about the spring in a bit, but we shall see about that. If it becomes an issue, I can always build one if it does become an issue, but I think that's okay. I could actually move it across, I suppose, and put it to here, but maybe I'll do that in spring. But for winter now, I'll leave it like this. It'll probably come down, to be honest, and keep it ready for spring. But that's about the right size that I want, and it's doing exactly what I was going to build.
Daddy!
So I've had a cup of coffee, and do you know what? This really is warming on me now. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I am happy with it, I think. It's level. It's going to do the job that I want. It's still giving a lot of light underneath if I'm going to grow underneath. And it feels like spring having this here with all the plants. And this will stop slugs from climbing up if you had legs and eating all your delicate plants in early spring. Because that's when they come out. It gets warmer, and yeah, that's when they start munching on everything. Winter's not so bad. Like, you do get some, but it's quite cold, so they're now digging down into the soil to keep warm. But yeah, you need to start preparing as well for spring with the slugs and all the pests. So that's what I'm trying to do this year, is trying to get ahead of the game. Now, when I was at Tony's, he gave me a pile of mange choux ready for spring, and also some red crimson broad beans. Now, I can't say I dislike broad beans because I've never had broad beans, but I don't know. I'm going to plant some anyway and try, because why not? You know, why not try something that you don't like? And because I used to hate celery, and now I like celery, so that's something I'm going to try. I'm going to overwinter them and then plant them out. So yeah, maybe I'll like broad beans. Now I still need to plant up all the bulbs, so I might leave this up for a few days just in case, because I don't know how many pots and how many little planters that I'm going to be using the staging for. So this might be the area where I put all the reserve plants. So for now, I'm going to leave it like this. So like I've mentioned before about these S-hooks that I use on hanging baskets and just hanging things like tools and whatnot off the poles in the polytunnel. Now I've used these are like S-hooks. You can get them in silver, white and also in black. There's a larger hoop on the top and a smaller one on the bottom, and you just hang these onto the poles like so, and then you can just hang your tools off, your trowels. I'll put a link to these in the description, and I think these are perfect. And you can buy different ones and they won't fit. Like if you had the ones that are both small like this, they won't fit over, but you need the ones that have got the extra bigger hoop on the top, and they fit perfect for like trowels, scissors and things. Just keeps everything off the floor, and it's also great as well for like hanging like chains off and string and things like that, because later on I'll be using these for hanging the tomatoes straight off on the vines, so it'll just be easier. And yeah, I just thought I'd show you these again because I've had a few people ask where I got them from, but I'll put a link in the description for them. So the other 10 pallets have arrived, and honestly they're going to be perfect for the projects that I've got coming up, because I want to make like a workbench out of some of these as well. Now these haven't been treated or anything, but they'll be great for what I want to use them for. We've had a little drizzle of rain, but all the brassicas that are planted in this bed now are really rooting down. They have all perked up, even the sulky ones that came in here, and I'm really pleased with them. The sprouts, I wish I had more sprouts, because I'm actually going through them like no tomorrow. I've got a couple here, and weirdly these two at the back, which were planted way before, these were quite mature plants. The sprouts are very small on them, but these ones here, they're doing great. And we've even got some purple sprouting broccoli coming through as well. So I've just popped out as well to grab some spray paint for this. Now it's a Rust-Oleum one, which will protect this. I'm going to wire brush all this down and then give it a good coat to protect it. I know this will last a few more years, but it'll clean this up nice and tidy, and also sort out some of these rusty parts as well. So let's get that done. So I've added the Rust-Oleum paint, took it outside, gave it a little spray and brought it back in. I tell you what, honestly, putting this up and down is a nightmare. It's a bit heavy, but it will do the job. And yeah, it's just carabiners on here. It looks great now, I'm pleased with it. But yeah, this Rust-Oleum paint now should protect it a little bit. It is for the plot anyway, so I'm not particularly worried, but yeah, I'm happy with it. Really happy that I found this. Now I really do think the polytunnel now is taking shape. There's a bit of clutter and there's a bit of mess, but both beds now are planted up. This is in, it just feels now that I'm getting closer and closer to spring, and it won't be long. We will be hitting January, planting the onion seeds, then February and March is chaos. So if you're a new gardener, order your seeds now. My advice would be to order them all now. Get them all indoors, write them all down, write all your lists and stuff of when you're planting them and where you're planting them. I find winter especially a good time to start planning your garden and where it's all going to fit, because there's nothing worse. You go, hey, I want to grow this, I want to grow that, and then you haven't got a room for it. So be practical, draw out a plan. You know, you can actually buy books online, which I got one actually, like a gridded effect, so that you can actually draw your garden or your plot out on it, or just use a bit of paper, draw out your plot, and make sure you've got enough space for things to go in and things to go back out once once you've pulled them out and harvested. So now's the time to use winter to plan. So I decided to pop out and start at the back of the plot and start clearing away all the brambles and the nettles there, ready for the compost base. And true to form, Wales brings the rain. So that'll be left for another day. I'm Danny and this is Grow Up.